end to be a fairly straightforward victory for Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki ahead of Chris Walker and James Ellison, who had a terrific battle on the Lloyd's British GB motorbikes. Ben Wilson, a splendid fourth. The remarkably modest Lincolnshireman ahead of John Hopkins on the Tyco Suzuki. Stuart Easton is holding 6th place. Tommy Bridewell 7th. 8th is Richard Cooper on 8 points. 9th Jakob Smerts on the Millsport Ducati. 10th James Westmoreland on the build-based BMW. 11th Dan Linfoot's Quattro Plant Kawasaki ahead of Michael Rutter, Martin Jessup, Patrick Muff and Josh Waters. And the grid headed by James Ellison on pole position, Shane Byrne 2nd, Chris Walker 3rd. The second row, Stuart Easton, Tommy Bridewell and Yuichi Kianari. Row 3, Jakob Smerts on that Ducati Panigale ahead of Ben Wilson and John Hopkins. And Josh Brooks has a lot of work to do. He's back on row 4 alongside Josh Waters and Dan Linfoot. So ready to go then with look at the crowds. Look at the crowds here. It's a fabulous day here in Brands Hatch in the Garden of England, and shimmering sunshine as we approach 4 o'clock, and it's time for the second MCE Insurance British Superbike race. On the right-hand side of picture, Ellison. Has he got it in him to get the start? Shaky Byrne will be dangerous off the start. He's fast. The lights go out. They're off. Oh, Ellison does mess it up. And he gets a little bit of a jump that's going to cost him several places into turn 1. And he tries to get round Walker. He does and hang on to that 3rd place. But he lost immediate ground off the line. And Shaky Byrne ominously takes the lead on the first of 30 laps around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit.
Yeah, and Chris Walker's already getting stuck in and about his teammate Ellis, and the fencing as they go down it, Graham Hill.
And look who it was launched through to 2nd place. It's a Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki 1-2 James, because the little Scotsman has dived through there. Stuart Easton, Bridewell 5th, Kianari 6th, Smerts, Wilson, Linfoot.
Yeah, Stuart Easton really nervous on the grid there. He didn't really want to say a lot, and you could just tell, looking in his eyes, he was concentrating on what he was about to have to do.
So launching round to complete lap 1, and straight away Shaky Byrne sets about opening the leaders. Walker gets the better of Ellison and moves clean through into 3rd place. He's looking for that 50th BSB career podium.
I've been told by the Pirelli man that everybody's gone for exactly the same tyre. Everybody happy with their choices, albeit quite different choices in the case of the GB Motors Kawasaki squad. Ellison and Walker, they've gone for the zero rear, which is the softer of the options. We'll have to see how it goes if this race goes full distance.
And look at this, Easton is going to find Walker clambering all over him any minute now. What a contrast in styles. The tidy, tiny little Scot. And, well, actually, Chris is a little fella, isn't he? He's just busier on a motorbike. At the front, Shaky Byrne leads the way, number 67. Originally from the Royal Borough of Lambeth in London. At least that's where he was born. Ellison, Bridewell, Kianari, Smerts, Linfoot, Wilson, Cooper. Where on earth is Brooks? Brooks, I thought Brooks was higher. Brooks has gone. I think, Brooks is in 8th. Sorry, Brooks is in 8th place. Boom. Ahead of Linfoot and Ben Wilson. Cooper 11th, Westmoreland 12th. Hopkins is down in 13th place after a rather modest start on the Tyco Suzuki.
Smerts has made a good start on the Panigale Ducati. They're in 7th now, just ahead of Brooks.
Byrne leads the way then, 46.354, instantly setting a lap 0.3 of a second quicker than Easton in 2nd place, his teammate. So as he comes scorching onto the Brabham Straight, already beginning to open up a gap as he crosses the line, 46.09, and that gives him just under a second advantage over Easton versus Walker and Ellison.
Fastest man on track, Ellison.
Oh, and there's a problem for Ian Hutchinson.
That's Ian Hutchinson on the FFX Yamaha. That's him into the pits. They've had a lot of trouble with that bike through qualifying and before that on-time practice. Niggling things.
Shaky Byrne leads the way. There he goes, out of picture. Now these three really beginning to concertina up in their battle for 2nd place. With Stuart Easton feeling a little more at home now on the bigger Kawasaki after winning on the 600cc Martrain Yamaha last season.
It's really bumpy, you know, around clearways onto the start and finish straight, especially with these things that have got over 200 brake horsepower. You're trying to get the throttle open, trying to get the thing driving forward. You hit these big rollers, not sharp bumps like a patch. These are like big rollers that load and unload the suspension.
Byrne leads it, Easton second, Walker third. I was looking, can I just say in my defence, something's up here because Brooks keeps disappearing from the timing screen momentarily as they cross the line, and then he bobs up again. I don't know whether it's a transponder delay.
That is a dodgy transponder, it's not picking up, so that'll be what that is, Jack.
James Ellison, fastest lap of the race, 46.007, and he's closed right up on his teammate Chris Walker. But Walker, look, Christopher. I was going to say the ebullient Walker. He lights it up round Clearways and Clark Curve.
Not even his mum calls him Christopher, Jack. Not anymore. You can't be Christopher and 50 years old or whatever he is.
So Byrne, there's the front four going through, and then we've got Chianari up to fifth place. Smertz is sixth, right behind him. The two red and white bikes there, and behind them we've got Josh Brooks. So three red bikes together. But it's actually BMW, Ducati and Yamaha.
And good ride for that man there, number 23, Chianari, on the BMW, the Bill-based bike, because he needs this. He's certainly got the talent, we know that, won the championship 3 times, and he seems to be clicking with this BM. It's just what he needs, good safe, steady race, running somewhere top 6.
On the 6th lap of 30 then, we're already 5 laps into this race as Walker once again appears been able, look how neat, it doesn't look as if he's working at all, does it, Stuart Easton? So tidy on the brakes into paddock and yet late enough to fend off all comers.
And that's the thing, Stuart Easton, he can ride any bike, he's rode super bikes before and won British Championship races, he's won British Super Sport Championships a couple of times, a long distance of time in between that as well. He can ride just about any bike, can Stuart, and he is a real tidy rider. He's a tidy little fella, his house is dead tidy.
Just the way he is. Tommy Bridewell's running in 8th place, a little gap between him and his teammate Brooks, and then James Westmoreland right with him. Dan Linfoot now top 10 ahead of Ben Wilson, who's back in 11th with Hopkins. Michael Dunlop has retired to the pits. That you can't be riding around here with a suspected broken arm, James. It's not going to work, is it?
I will guarantee it's not the arm that's brought him in. We'll see him afterwards, and it's not the arm. If he lost an arm, he wouldn't come in.
Meanwhile, at the front, Shaky Byrne leads the way.
He's getting caught, though. Shane Byrne, he's getting caught.
The boys have just knocked a couple of tenths of a second out of him on the last 2 laps. So what these three are doing, James, is they're not messing one another up. They're riding fast in convoy, and they're just gradually closing the gap.
Well, despite what you think when you look at Chris Walker, he's a clever lad. He isn't going to muck about, you know, wasting time passing each other.
9th lap of 30 as we approach 1/3 race distance. Shaky Byrne, who I thought was just going to motor off with this, is suddenly finding that he has some company. His lead has shrunk to 0.4 of a second round Druids.
And there's no question that he'll know it. His crew will be signalling from the start and finish straight. And he'll know, oh, way up.
And we've got a faller at Druids.
That's Smertz.
Oh, and I was just thinking that Smertz had disappeared from behind Chianari in the background.
Yep.
So Jakob Smertz, what an unfortunate end to the man from the Czech Republic's race on the Millsport Ducati. Panigale going well, but he's fallen at Druids. So hurtling back onto the Brabham Straight this time. Byrne will complete 9 laps, and he'll find that he's even... Well, it's down to 0.3 of a second. 46.2, fastest man on the track. That lap was Chris Walker, number 9. Chianari now is 5th, Brooks 6th, ahead of Bridewell, Westmoreland, Linfoot. Ben Wilson moves top 10 ahead of Hopkins, Richard Cooper. Lee Costello in the points for Halsall Racing Kawasaki, ahead of Josh Waters and Michael Rutter.
Chris Walker be thinking, do you know what, at this rate, it might be just eke out of living out of racing for another 3 or 4 years, then my pension comes through. Happy days. Good ride from Chris. He's so pleased to see it.
Now, as we just approach 10 laps completed here, is Shaky Byrne just kind of feeling steady enough? No, he wouldn't want them this close, would he? No way.
No, he wouldn't. I would say no. He isn't kind of sandbagging in any way. He would be trying to get away if he could. He made a perfect start and had the opportunity, if he was able to put the lap times in, to get away. He hasn't been able to do that.
And this is round a circuit where he's done nothing really but win, including that double victory as a wild card in World Supers in 2003.
Stuart Easton's got trouble here because he's sneaking up on his teammate Shane Byrne, but Chris Walker's there, and Chris Walker does look like he's going to have a go at him now, and I think that's because Ellison's getting impatient in 4th there.
There's Richard Cooper, number 47.
Yep.
He's just ahead of Lee Costello, the boy from Bolton, riding for the Household Racing team.
Look at this.
Look at this. Now, we know how little, the tiny little figure of Scotsman Stuart Easton should have the draft, but it's Ellison who moves through.
Yep.
Ellison just cuts underneath Chris Walker into third.
And that's why Walker looked to be having a bit of a go at Easton, because he knew that he'd got company in the form of Ellison.
So now Ellison, the man on the move, 12th lap of 30. He's got the time to do something about it. Kianari's right with them.
And Brooks
working really hard. He's starting to close the gap.
Brooks never likes it easy, does he? Everything he's ever done, he's always had to grind it out and dig away just to get a result. You know, remember last year here in the wet, he chose a brilliant tyre, came from way back. He's giving himself a bit more work there, going really wide at clearways. But you've got to be impressed with how Brooks just keeps going and don't give up.
Stuart Easton can just get the speed gathered as he comes onto the Bramham straight, but not outbreak his team leader at the end of that straight. Up to Druids. Ellison, he's close to Easton. He's just got to find some way of getting through. Once again, someone got sat up there. Was it Walker as they came out of Druids?
Yeah. You know, this is concertinaing together nicely. This is shaping up to be just like a British Supersport round. This, look at that.
This is 4 Kawasaki's, a BMW and a Yamaha running at the front. And the neatest of them all, well, I suppose Easton probably is, but Kianari looks really smooth on the BMW.
He is. Kianari's another rider that if he's out of shape, he's slow. If he's neat, he's generally fast. Oh, Ellison. Ellison, do you know what? Without bragging, Ellison really fancied this. You could just tell he's got confidence from that first fastest lap in the second part of race 1. And he's fancied a bit of this.
He set the fastest lap in this race on lap 4. We're now on the 14th lap of the 30. Josh Brooks right on the back wheel now of Yuichi Kianari, but although he's only moments away from the leader, he's got a rather packed track between him and the front.
Yeah.
Shaky Burn, just Shaky's recovering and just easing away again.
Brooks carves underneath Kianari there.
Yes, proper.
And takes 5th. That was a slight mistake. Went a little bit wide, did Yuichi Kianari, and that just allowed Brooks through.
So dropping back into Paddock Hill Bend once again, that 46.2. Would you believe it? Shaky Burn finding that little extra, gains 4/10 in a lap, which is a lot round here.
He doesn't panic though, does he? And that's what you've not got to do. And sometimes when a rider's catching you, you know that because you look at your lap signals. Here comes Ellison for second.
He's got it. Now, can he make a move? He gets Stuart Easton. Oh, Easton cuts back underneath him along the bottom straight. But as they keel into Surtees, Ellison is through. Now then, can the Lloyd's British GB Motors Kawasaki do anything about the leader? He's got a little bit of clear track ahead of him as Josh Brooks begins to attack Chris Walker. Yeah, and Brooks will be looking for something at the end of the straight here, but Walker's quick onto the straight. Chris is looking for Stuart Easton. He wants that 50th BSB podium.
Yeah, he does.
What are we saying here? Chris, a while since Chris Walker was running this cleanly up the front. His best result last year on his way to 10th in the championship was a 5th place, James.
Yeah, in fact, last year Chris Walker was really, really unlucky not to end up having a good chance at getting in the showdown top 6 at the end of the season. He got knocked off by Ellison, then on the Yamaha, right here, bottom bend, the corner before this, and he got knocked off by other. He had a lot of bad luck, a couple of engine blow-ups. He was
Brooks
really lucky.
Yeah, same place as he caught out Kianari. He's launched himself past Walker.
Yeah, he's got that line really sort of taped down.
So number 3, Josh Brooks, 30-year-old now, the man from just the outskirts of Sydney. In fact, he'll turn 31 in just 7 days' time.
And Kianari's now in front of Chris Walker. Walker back to 6, Kianari up to 5th.
Shaky Burn still leads the way from James Ellison.
Brooks.
Oh, Brooks. What a move on Easton.
Yep.
So Brooks, you said, as he so often does, making himself have to work hard. But of course, and Easton responds. Wow.
Yeah, watch where if Brooks does the same thing that he's done lap on lap to other people, not just enough room there. Easton just doesn't allow him enough room.
Josh cutting it very tight as they go into clearways and round the Clark curve. Now he cuts it onto the Brabham straight, looking to see if he can position himself for a pass underneath. But he gets taken by Kianari. Keogh just outguns him out of the Brabham straight and drops it over Paddock Hill.
Brooks is thinking now, oh, Stewart's inquiry. I've just done a lot of hard work there.
And now he's back 2 places again. So Shane Byrne 46.3, James Ellison 46.3. Absolutely tooth and nail at the front, evenly matched.
Rostrom for Keogh, you'd have got good odds on that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he's challenging now, isn't he? Look, he's looking smooth. This time he's not going to allow Brooks the room. Josh was looking. Brooks number 3, Walker number 9. Ahead of them, Byrne, Ellison, Easton. Oh, Ellison quick on that lap, 46.2. Keogh's through, but Easton just chops back underneath him as Keogh runs wide. Yeah. That gives Brooks a look as well. Keogh's right out on the curb.
Mistake for Keogh there that let Ellison and then Brooks back through.
So Byrne, Ellison, Easton, beg your pardon, Brooks, Easton, Kianari.
We don't want to burn Ellison. We're just saying it is Shane Byrne, then Ellison.
Ellison is closing quite rapidly. We're approaching 2/3 distance.
Sorry, it just sounded funny. Couldn't resist that, Jack. We're not in the habit of setting anybody on fire from this commentary booth. We'll have to point that out.
Behind this lot, Bridewell 7th, Westmoreland 8th, 9th, Linfoot 10th, still top 10 for Wilson. On to the 20th lap, and once again, this time absolutely the same lap times.
Yeah, that's for Byrne and for Ellison, exactly the same.
And just outside the top 10, looking back at Lee Costello, Harry Hartley in the points. The young, the Burnley Hare, as they call him. They're running just behind his Halsall Racing teammate and ahead of the former Australian champion, Josh Waters.
There they are. That was the 2 Halsall Racing boys. That was Costello in front of his teammate, Harry Hartley. Harry Hartley just 17 about a month ago. He's only just 17. Youngest rider ever in BSB. Here comes Brooks up the inside of Easton. Same move, and it worked again.
So Brooks now through into 3rd place. He's got just that little bit of clear track at 2/3 distance to see if he can do anything about Byrne and Ellison.
Yeah, Byrne 46.6 and Ellison 46.3 that last lap, and you can see that they're right together now.
We've got back markers coming into play any moment now.
There he is, fluorescent liveried back marker, and then Byrne and then Ellison.
So this could get very interesting indeed. Oh, it's the Brazilian lad from Sao Paulo, but living in London, working in London, Ralph Laturco, who's trying to keep out of the way. Certainly, that first batch seemed to have got through. And he stays well wide at clearways. Good lad.
Possibly for the best, I think.
Yes, I think so. Great Brazilian colours, though. Whoa, Ellison now right with Shaky Byrne. 22nd at 30 laps we're on to.
Yep, and that's above the vital 2/3 distance. If anything happened now, red flag comes out, it would stand with the result.
So James Ellison now has closed the gap on Shaky Byrne, but you know how much resolve and reserve this man from London, well, now Sittingbourne in Kent, has. Shaky Byrne still leads the way.
Speaking of reserve and resolve, look at Brooks in 3rd, fastest.
46.2.
Yep, fastest man on track now. Not the fastest of the race, but certainly the pace he's going now. Brooks is the quicker rider out there. There he is.
So Ellison needs to try and make it. Well, you know that James Ellison is not a guy who takes the plunge quickly. He tends to kind of wind up to a pass, doesn't he, James? He doesn't kind of move up and make a hit straight away.
No, he doesn't. No, he's quite the opposite of what Brooks will be. You don't need to ask him twice. He'll just get stuck straight in.
Brooks was round Druids as if on rails then.
He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah. So Brooksy has come from a long way back. Could it be that the Australian is going to be able to make a rush on the Kawasaki's? There's number 23, Yuichi Kianari, is ahead of Stuart Easton again.
Yeah, last lap round, Brooks was 3/10 quicker than either Byrne or Ellison. So, yeah, he's just sneaking up. They're not making it easy for him, though.
So Byrne, Ellison, Brooks cross the line, and what will happen with Josh Brooks is he could run out of time, you know. We're under the 24th of 30 laps.
I disagree. I think he's going to get with him, and if anybody has the capability of just passing wherever he catches him and taking a few risks, it is Brooks. We've seen it before. Ellison slightly wide. Brooks is right on his back wheel now.
Down the hill, and Josh Brooks 46.042, his fastest lap of the race, and only 0.04 of a second off the fastest lap of the whole race has moved him into third place. So whatever's working with that Yamaha is getting quicker as the race goes on.
If you watch, he's got a lot of confidence with the front end. The way he turns it in and still is able to turn it and make an apex. That's where he's passed everybody, is in that early part of clearways, where you're changing from left to right and trying to brake and trying to get it into the right-hander. A lot of pressure on the front end there. Look, see how he railed into the back of Ellison going into Paddock Hill there.
But he knows he went down at Druids. He's got to just exercise a tad of caution there.
That's ages ago. I've forgotten that by now.
Byrne, Ellison, Brooks, Kianari, Easton, Walker. That's the top 6 after 24 laps. Keogh, Westmoreland, Bridewell, Linfoot, 7th, 8th and 9th. And then Wilson, Hopkins, Hartley. Hartley is now 12th. Well, he did say he was enjoying the extra power. He's passed his teammate, Lee Costello, and he's into 12th place. Oh, look at that. The lines crossing as they come out of Clark's onto the main straight. But, of course, as you get nearer the front, the faster they get.
Oh, that's Mitchell Carr.
The 2012 Australian Supersport Sport champ goes down.
Displaying perfectly how to throw your bike spinning off to a marshal.
And this is good news for Shaky Byrne, because he's just beginning to eke out a bit more of an advantage as Ellison comes under fire from Brooks. So Shaky Byrne still leading it, looking for the double, as he so often has secured previously at Brands Hatch. But Brooks trying to find a way through. Ellison fighting him off. Across the line now. Let's check out the time. Surely Shaky's quick as 46.3 against 46.5, but Brooks does make his move through. Great move by the Australian. Now he just defended up the hill, and that will give him about 4.5 laps to do anything about Shaky Byrne. Now, you could be right in saying that he's left it a bit late, because he has got a mountain to climb if he's going to catch Shane Byrne. Shane's just setting those 46.3, 46.4, 46.2. Consistent times from Shane Byrne. And those are hard times to better, James. Yeah, they are. Yep. Having said that, Brooks has been getting that little bit quicker as the race has gone on. He's got those tighter lines. A lot may depend on these back markers and where Shaky can pass them. Yeah. And if he can make the pass at the right moment, look, he's going to get one of them as they go into Paddock Hill. Yeah, no, Brooks is through a sweet pass. Yeah. And then up the hill towards Druids. He's closing down. 46.1 on that lap from Brooks. Yeah, and that's Jenny Timothy who went past. She kept out of the way. And do you know, many people in Brooks's position think, you know what, it's the first meeting, I can get a second here, but you just know he's not thinking that. He's not thinking that. So Josh Brooks, a former rostrum finisher, of course, in the World Supersport Championship in 2008, when he was a winner at Donington Park before he moved on to British Superbikes. Next backmarker up for the chop is number 55, that's Peter Baker. He's 55 years old. 55 years old, and good luck to him. Honestly. Riding very respectably, but he needs to keep out of the way of these two. Oh, dear me. He's got in the way just when we didn't need him to. He's got in the way of Josh Brooks. Yeah, he has. Well, what cruel misfortune for the Australian. Brooks is not happy with that, I'll tell you. That was, for a man of his age and experience, that was a pretty shocking beat. Oh, he has. I think he's so furious with Baker, who's still trying to nudge it back up the inside of him. That's at 29 of 30 laps. That's possibly cost Brooks any chance of a stab at Shane Byrne for the win. Well, perhaps there ought to be an age limit, so, you know. No, it's not. It's not that. I mean, he's not last by any stretch, isn't Peter Baker? No, but he ought to stay out of the way. Here we go, then, on to the final lap. Shaky Byrne ahead of Josh Brooks. Byrne has riding for Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki, looking for the double here. Josh Brooks on the number 3, the Milwaukee Yamaha. It's putting everything on the line on the final lap, but you know how short the final lap is. It's only just over a mile round the Brands Indy circuit. He's pushing Brooks. He's pushing. He's wide again. He pulls it back to the late apex, drops down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. You know what he's thinking. You just know what he's thinking. He's not giving up. if I can get close enough by the time I've got through. Flick left through Surtees into McLaren's, but no matter how tight he claws it round here, it surely can't happen. And it's going to be a double victory, I think, for Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki and Shane Shaky Byrne, former champion. Oh, as they come round for the line, Byrne powers out through Clark Curve, takes victory from a hard-riding Josh Brooks. Third for James Ellison. Fourth place goes to Yuichi Kianari from Chris Walker and Stuart Easton in sixth. Meantime, still a lot of hard riding going on. Here's Halsell fighting against Michael Rutter as they come sweeping out. And look at that, Harry Hartley.
That was Costello, I think.
It was Hartley in 13th place, 14th for Muff.
Yep, Rutter and Costello got the better of him, I think.
Yeah, but they've dropped down to 17th. They have,
yeah. Yeah, you're right. No points for them.
Then. And a lot of greater happiness in the Mull Walker Yamaha camp, because that's a relief for them to get a good result on the board, and they were so close to making that a race win. So race winner is Shane Byrne on the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. Oh, lovely, nice theatre, boys. Paul Bird looking happy with things because his man has done the double here at Brands Hatch after an eventful afternoon with Brooks in second place, Ellison in third. Chris Walker gives the thumbs up to Shaky Byrne. Stalker, another good ride, finishes fifth after follow up his second place in race one. So looking pretty comfortable on the Lloyd's British GB Motos Kawasaki. There's number 77, fastest lap once again, Lloyd's British GB Motor Kawasaki, James Ellison, for the second time in 2 races. Shaky Byrne takes the race win. Josh Brooks, well, that was close. He nearly was able to launch an attack. Another lap or 2 would have done it.
Brooks, definitely man of the race for me.
The second MCE Insurance British Superbike race, Shaky Byrne, Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki, wins it from Josh Brooks and James Ellison. Yuichi Kianari's build-based BMW finishes fourth ahead of Chris Walker, Stuart Easton, James Westmoreland, Dan Linfoot, Tommy Bridewell and Ben Wilson, once again in the top 10. 11th place for John Hopkins on the Taiko Suzuki ahead of Martin Jessup. Harry Hartley, the 17 last month, gets the Halsell Biker Gear Kawasaki into the points in 13th ahead of Batham's BMW's Patrick Muff. The last point goes to Richard Cooper's Anvil Higher Tank Kawasaki. And then just outside the points, Josh Waters, Michael Rutter, Lee Costello, Keith Farmer and Barry Burrell's team WD-40 Kawasaki. The championship standings after 2 races, Shaky Byrne with the perfect 50 leads James Ellison handsomely on 32, Chris Walker on 31, Josh Brooks 20 puts him joint 4th with Stuart Easton. Ben Wilson on 19 is 6th ahead of Tommy Bridewell on 16, level with John Hopkins. 9th for James Westmoreland on 15, Yuichi Kianari on 13 is 10th. 11th place for Dan Linfoot ahead of Richard Cooper. Martin Jessup and Jakob Smertz on 7 points ahead of Michael Rutter, Patrick Muff, Harry Hartley and Josh Waters.